I built a 30-room dollhouse apartment building with each floor a different decade. This is the 1950s foyer/building lobby, complete with a mailbox for all 5 apartments. Why don't you come on in? The 1950s were colorful, lively, and fun. World War II was over. The GIs were home, getting married, and starting families. New housing developments were popping up everywhere to meet the demand. Companies that built furniture, flooring, appliances, and home accessories were all vying for consumer attention. They gained attention by offering vivid colors such as cherry red, first lady pink, and aqua. Products such as kitchen appliances and cars were available with dozens of color options. Manufacturers introduced a myriad of new electric kitchen appliances and other products to make home life easy and efficient. Plastic items and synthetic fabrics made it possible to easily and cheaply customize your home. It was very popular to have built-in cabinetry rather than freestanding furniture. This helped to conserve space, as rooms in the 1950s were often quite small. Did you know that the first issue of TV Guide was published in 1953? The arrival of mass-produced vinyl record players came in 1955, thanks to the radio company Philco. Come in and look at the modest-sized but very pink bathroom. Pink bathrooms were popular in the United States from the late 1940s to the early 1960s for many reasons, including Mamie Eisenhower. The former First Lady's love of the color pink inspired the trend. Why don't you come in and see the boys' bedroom? What 1950s children's room would be complete without identical twin beds? Popular pastimes for children in the 1950s included imaginative play. This room is decorated in a cowboy western theme. Board games such as Tiddlywinks were also popular, and you can see some Tinker Toys and a toy train set on the shelf. Thanks for visiting the 1950s. Now it's on to the 1960s. The term flower power originated in Berkeley, California in 1965 as a symbolic protest against the Vietnam War. Beat poet Allen Ginsberg developed the idea in his essay, How to Make a March Spectacle, which suggested that protesters use flowers and other props to turn rallies into a form of street theater. The goal was to reduce fear and anger and encourage critical thought, not violence. When I think of the term mid-century modern, I immediately think of the 1960s. Mid-century modern furniture often featured clean lines, organic shapes, and a blend of wood, metal, and plastic materials. Iconic pieces include Eames lounge chairs, tulip tables and chairs, and Noguchi coffee tables. The color palette of mid-century modern decor embraced bold and vibrant hues such as teal and mustard yellow. These colors were commonly used for upholstery, walls, and accessories. Why don't you come on in and have a look at the primary bedroom? I based this room on photographs that were taken of homes that my mother's family lived in during the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. There were a lot of Asian accents. The predominant colors were turquoise, cream, white, with hints of brass. Let's take a look at the 1960s very blue flower power bathroom. Space was at a premium, so instead of a tub, I just installed a small shower. Let's take a look at the girls' bedroom. This bedroom reminds me a lot of the bedroom in The Brady Bunch, which was a show that aired beginning in 1969. Note the typewriter and princess phone on the van. I found this curtain fabric in a stash that had belonged to my grandmother. She used it in the 1960s or 70s to make a square dance dress. Most of this wallpaper and other paper is just scrapbook paper from Joann fabric. I made the closet on my laser wood cutter. Thanks for visiting the 1960s. And now we're going to head upstairs into the 1970s. I wanted this 1970s foyer to be representative of the disco era, so I included a Studio 54 poster, a disco ball, and lots of vibrant oranges, yellows, and pinks. Did you know that the origins of the disco ball can actually be traced back to 1897? Welcome to the 1970s. Why don't you come in? Not all of the 1970s was disco glam, however. Much of the home decor in the 70s looked like this. This living room is based on the living room that I grew up in. The house I grew up in was built in 1972 and featured wall paneling in at least 3 different colors, and other than that, a lot of white walls. No 70s home would be complete without a towering entertainment center, complete with TV and stereo system. The kitchen in the house I grew up in had dark wood cabinets and yellow countertops, just like this one. Let's have a look in the primary bedroom. This bedroom is almost an exact replica of the bedroom that my parents had when I was growing up. I designed this furniture on my laser cutter to look exactly like the furniture set they had. They had the brown wall paneling, the white popcorn ceiling, and the sunset pictures on the walls. They even had the orange lamps. My mother's nightstand had a white French phone left over from the 60s, and my dad's nightstand had a digital alarm clock. Let's have a look at the 1970s bathroom, complete with mustard yellow walls and brown accents. The bathroom of the house I grew up in had an avocado green floor. Everything else was yellow, white, or brown. Let's have a look at the kids' bedroom. I imagine this bedroom to belong to 2 young boys, an elementary school boy and perhaps a preschooler. Note the Charlie Brown book on the desk and the Legos all over the floor. The house I grew up in had dark brown shag carpeting, just like this, and the bedroom my sister and I shared had this lovely gray paneling, which was frankly the bane of my existence. Thank you for visiting the 1970s. Let's continue to the 1980s. The color palettes of the 1980s were, I think, a direct reaction to the bright orange of the 70s. Suddenly, light, powdery blues and mauve pinks were very popular, as well as lightly colored woods. Dusty rose and soft grays were also in vogue. This home is equipped with some very modern features for the time, a home computer and a fax machine. Also, what 1980s home didn't have an electric keyboard? This is the very first Nintendo system, which I had growing up. We used it to play Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. In this panoramic shot, you can really get a sense of the light, soft colors that were very popular during the 1980s. During the 1980s, my friend Trisha's house had that exact dusty rose pink carpeting. Just about every kitchen from this era would have had a wall phone, and perhaps some funnies on the kitchen table. Let's visit the primary bedroom, shall we? I based this room on the popular Laura Ashley trend of the 1980s. I used Broadneck's Dollhouse wallpaper to complete this look. All of the fabric, pinstripe wallpaper, and floral wallpaper match each other. The rug is also part of the set. I included softly colored furnishings and accessories. I am particularly proud of this little blue rocker, which I upholstered myself. Let's take a look at the bathroom. One trend that will hopefully never come back is having carpet in the bathroom. This is something that people thought was a good idea in the 1980s. Let's take a look at the girls' bedroom. This bedroom is a far cry from the rest of the apartment. I imagine that the girl who lives here had a fight with her mom about the color scheme in this room. What 80s bedroom would be complete without a huge boombox? This colorful, quirky, quintessentially 1980s design is called Memphis design style. It originated in Milan, Italy in 1981. This girl is lucky to have a phone in her room and an abundance of posters on the wall. Thank you for visiting the 1980s. I'm happy to leave that carpeted bathroom behind. Let's go on to the 1990s. Even though the 1990s should be the easiest to design as it is the most recent, for me it was the hardest. In the end, I ended up basing the color scheme on Monica's apartment from Friends, with a lot of lavenders and purples. Note the multiple remote controls, the camera that uses yellow boxed Kodak film, and the cordless phone, not to mention the entertainment center. The wallpaper border in the kitchen was taken from a set of Mary Engelbreit recipe cards that I found in a thrift store. Let's take a look at the primary bedroom. This bedroom features an accent wall, a lot of Thomas Kincaid art, very traditional darker wood furniture, and very fussy curtains. This is the only TV guide cover that I specifically remember from my childhood. Let's have a look at the 1990s bathroom. Honestly, I wasn't sure what to do here, so I based the color scheme on a bathroom I had in 1999 when I was in college. It was entirely mint green and lavender. Let's take a look at this very messy teen boy's bedroom. I included posters for Alanis Morissette, Green Day, Aerosmith, and Nirvana. I built a clothing rack and included an empty laundry basket just so I could show that instead of hanging up his clothes or putting them in the laundry, the boy just likes to fling his clothing and trash all over the room. No 90s room would be complete without a big, boxy TV and a rack of CDs. I also included one of those magic eye posters from the 90s that you would always see at the mall. Thank you for touring this 30-room dollhouse with me. This was a real labor of love that was years in the making. Caution, enter at your own risk, Y2K is coming.